All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Assassination Classroom, Season 2, Episode 9. The Reaper has been defeated.
The fun
Police
police.
saved the day.
Yep, exactly.
And Irina was reminded of how much she matters to the students and how much they matter
Maybe
to her.
bitch, but you're our bitch.
That's right. Yep. And
Lying,
also...
skeeving, skiving.
Yep.
But still
Ab
ours.
appreciating. Yeah. Because hot damn, Karasuma.
Whew.
That was
Karasuma. Oh, boy.
you were packing that heat under such a simple suit jacket. What?
This isn't a ho boy moment. This is a ho. You make me a ho boy. You know.
It was really something. But now that the Reaper's been defeated,
Right.
and Karasuma has managed to make that whole shift in things so that hey, harm comes to the students, no bounty. What's next?
Well, they're going to have to, on the government side of things, figure out how to push the kids to actually do this job.
Yeah.
But
Because time keeps ticking.
Yeah, time keeps ticking, and yeah.
But
somehow this has to end.
it does. But I would not mind if we went into a bit of slice of life after that, because
I would appreciate that.
Bitch Sensei is back, and she was saved, both her body and her heart. So
Yes.
maybe we could get like
I think that's.
know.
I think that might be done, like at least for now.
yeah,
Probably
it
shift
could
focus
be
a little bit.
It could be, but it doesn't have to be.
Do you
Anywho,
like some water in these trying times, basically?
because I'm thirsty.
yeah, exactly. So
It wouldn't be enough.
yeah, probably not. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
何よやっぱりもっと露出
Oh
が
my
欲しい
god.
隠したことでむしろエロに凄みがある意味成長した
The sweater definitely makes them look bigger.
Flashback?
Who is this?
Whoa.
That looks like a new
it said
character,
Nagisa.
maybe.
No, it said Nagisa on the
Wait.
report card.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, that might have been like Nagisa's, like one of Nagisa's parents.
Maybe. So we didn't see a face or anything, like...
Well, but the hair was also different. Like, it was like,
Whoa,
like a different
this is
color.
different.
And, ooh.
Whoa, this is
Ooh.
very different. Nice. I'm gonna end up rewatching the previous OP and this one to see what the differences are.
Yeah, because it
There
feels
were a
like they were...
couple.
But they weren't
Around
like
the
huge
time.
differences.
エリーナ先生
Oh.
サイズシールつけっぱだ
What? So she can return it?
そっと言ってあげる
Maybe.
僕が取るよ
Without her
Oh.
noticing.
Yeah. Cool. Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
Wow.
totally unnoticed.
最後ですねさあ君の進路を教えてください渚くん
先生多分
An assassin.
Yeah.
人を殺す才能があり
Oh, shoot.
殺し屋になるべきでしょう
Yep.
か
Wow.
僕の進む道を教えてください
たとえ相手が怪物でも暴力教師でも天才的殺し屋でも
Yeah.
君は臆することなく攻
Nice
撃
calling
に
back
入
to
る
all
勇
those
気がある
incidents.
優れた殺し屋には欠かせない才能でしょうでもね渚くん君の勇気は時期をはらんでいます
Ah.
僕ごときどうなっても別にいい君の才能は何のために使うべきか誰のために使いたいかもう一度見つめ直しなさいその後でもう一度相談をしましょう
Way to go,
Okay.
Koro
その
Sensei.
時なお、
Wow.
君が殺し屋になりたければ先生も全力でサポートします
Dang.
Well.
そうとなったらやり直しだただいま
Totally not Dragon
おかえ
Quest.
り
Yeah.
渚
Oh, it's
Okay.
mom.
そこ座んなさい
Okay.
何母さん
3年前田中君のお兄さん60位でも本校舎復帰できたらしいの寄付金持って必死に頼んだら特例で許可いただけた
Oh.
Oh.
だから母さんもそうするわ一刻も早
Oh
く
God.
あんたを E 組から脱出させなきゃ
ちょっと
I don't
待
want
って
to.
No.
僕は E 組のままがいいよ楽しいし成績だって上がってるし 大学も就職も母さんが行けってとこ行くから。
Oh,
お願い
yeah.
中学だけはこのまま行かせ。あ、しまった。暗い時に逆らっちゃった。
Oh no.
やばい。
Oh no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my god.
なんでそんなにこ
Oh
Oh
shit.
my god.
挫折の傷はね、人を一生苦しめんのよ。
Holy shit.
同じ苦しみを味わわせたくなる。
Oh.
なんでわからないの。親がそこまでしてあげてんのに、あんた一体何様だつまり。
争い事が苦手な父さんは嫌気がさして出て行った。
Wow.
私とか父さん見たくならないように、あんたのためにプラン
Oh.
があるわ。
Oh.
境大に入れって言ってるの。
母さんが試験で落ちた一流大学だ。
Wow.
会社には学罰という
I think I just figured out a
そ
whole
の大
bunch
学を
of.
出てるかどうかで出世が決まるの。境大出身者がトップを占める菱丸に就職して、
母さんが入れなかった。
Wow.
Uh-huh. Nagisa is trying to be.
女の子が
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh
Here it is. Yep.
god.
これも口癖だ。
Oh god.
ほら、挑発にさせてるからやっぱり似合う。
知りた
Oh
くもな
my
い。
god.
女じゃないし。霊気にも似たこの人の執念。多分一生逆らえない。
Holy shit.
コロ先生は見抜いていた。僕の人生の主人公は僕じゃない。僕は
There's no quit button. You see
RPG 母さ
that?
んの2周目だ。烏丸先生は出張中だし。
So I can't order a hit on her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
第一、僕 E 組抜けたくないよ。
何も心配いい。
Wait.
先生は地球を滅ぼす超生物。三者面談などノープロブレムです。
不安だ。
Wow.
Yes, we need some comedy and like
Oh
to
my
balance this
god.
out. Oh my god. Oh
Wait,
my
wait.
god, yes. Yes.
Ah!
Yes. Yes. Wow.
なんで腕がソーセージみたいになってるよ。カラヤンのガキの筋肉の再現やがな。
不安だけど祈るしかない。
Oh my
コロ
god!
先生が無事に母さんを説得して、
Oh.
僕を E 組にとどまらせてくれるよう
God.
に。
まあどうぞおかけください。渚君もこんな山奥まで大変でしたでしょう。さあ冷たいジュースでも。
まあ、よしとし。
Oh my god.
3年生になって勝手にまとめた時は怒りましたが、これはこれで似合ってるので見逃してや
Good,
って
she's not able to hide any of it.
Uh-huh.
そうそう、
Yeah.
進路の話でしたわね。私の経験から
Putting the hand on his head like
stay
down kind of a thing.
Mm.
なるほど。
It's your time, Karasu.
なぜ渚君が今の
I almost called him Karasuma!
Yeah, yeah.
You see? What?
そう私烏丸忠之の面なんです。髪型も高校も大学も親が決めるものじゃない。渚君本人が決めるものだ。お母さん、渚君の人生は渚君の
Oh! Amazing!
Yes.
隠すための道具。
For hiding your own complexes!
担任としてはっきり申します。渚君が望まぬ限り E 組から出ることは認めません。
Oh no. Oh
And the
no.
thing is, she's gonna take it out on Nagisa probably.
保護者になんて言い草なの。
つい強めに言ってしまいました。しかし最も大事なのは君自身が君の意思をはっきり示すことですよ。
でも今は
Yeah, yeah.
一人じゃ何もできないうちは母さんの2周目でいた方が。
何もできないわけがない。殺す気があれば何でもできる。
Oh.
君の人生の1周目はこの教室から始まっているんです。
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
僕の
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
1周目。
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Dang it.
ごめんね。
Oh.
今日は先生の
This
前
is
で
to butter you
怒鳴っ
up.
たりして
Yes.
Uh-huh.
母さんも一生懸命だったから。
Don't.
God.
Don't fall
And
for
the
it.
metronome.
考えたんだけど、
あれ、
私の
Oh, no way.
するものは絶対に許さないこと
Did
に
she do some? What the? What?
You're kidding.
障害物は取り除く。人生観変えてあげるわ。渚。
She's taking him away. Oh my god!
No way.
燃やしなさい、この校舎を。
Oh, perfect.
何言ってんだよ。
Making him choose.
自分の手で火をつければ罪の意識でここの誰にも顔向けできない。
Because she's crazy, so she'll think he'll actually
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
やだよ、そんな。
誰が育ててやったと思ってんの？塾行かせて、私立入らせて、どんだけあんたに手間とお金使ってか分かってんの？ちるっぽけのバカ教師に洗脳されて、バカなことばっかり身につけて、あんたっていう人間はね、私が全部作り上げたのよ！
違う。でも正しい。
Right, right. Don't let her half truths.
この気持ち。
Oh my god!
母さん。
キーキーうるせえよクソババア。ドラマの時間が来ちまうじゃねえか。
この先。
Oh.
邪魔なのはてめえの。
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay.
必ず奴はここで自立放題とともに連ドラを見る。
警察。
Yeah.
ガキを殺しちゃ賞金
But
がパーだ。
nothing about you.
Yeah.
ババアの方はぶっ殺しても構わねえよな。
Uh-huh. Wow.
Stop the fire first off.
母さん。あなたの顔色を。
Whoa!
Oh, that's how
Whoa!
that's how Nagisa's so good at
Oh
it.
my god!
Because of his
その
mom.
ような才能じゃないけど。この才能の
Walking through the
僕は
fire. Hell
みん
yeah.
なの役に立てている。
君の人生の一周目
Oh! Oh, Nagisa!
Come on!
Let's go!
Come on.
母さん、僕は今このクラスで全力で挑戦をしています。卒業までに結果を出します。成功したら髪を切ります。育ててくれたお金も全部返します。
Wow!
それでも許してもらえなければ、
なんで？
母さんからも卒業します。
Yes. Yes.
Oh! The move!
Uh-huh. Wait. He did that at like a Reaper level.
産んで育ててくれただけですっごい感謝してる。贅沢かもしれないけど、ただ我が子がこの世に生まれてそこそこ無事に育っただけで喜んでも
Oh,
らえたら
shit!
全てが丸く収まるのに。
仮に先生を殺せたとしてその後その才能は殺し屋になるために使いますか？
多分違う。
Whoa.
才能ってこうと決まったものじゃない。
Okay.
暗殺に適している
Okay.
才能
There
だ
could be
から
other things it's good
母さん
for.
を守れたように誰かを助けるために使いたい。
All right.
それはやっぱり殺し屋じゃないよ。
No.
ぶっちゃけ危険だしね。
Good.
親を心配させない進路を探すよ。
My folks showing Korosensei like he's like his dad
Yeah.
in some ways. Oh.
All right. All right.
So you don't feel
yeah.
Yeah, so you don't feel the pressure
Yeah.
of
Oh man. Wow.
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 That's a start.
Yep. All right. Okay.
Oh my god.
Damn, that episode.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
The-
Ah.
having good wholesome fun and and stuff, and then all of a sudden
Suddenly an Apache helicopter mom appears.
yeah.
Jeez. Fuck. Oh. Oh, it was so tense it felt like it just went by in a blur.
Yeah.
Like,
the visuals that they used for her, holy shit. That was
made the Reaper look friendly.
yeah.
Oh.
And I love that as an explanation for why Nagisa is so good at
Yep.
picking up on things.
Well, we now know
Goddamn.
Nagisa's origins,
Yep.
basically.
Uh-huh.
Nagisa was the victim of a helicopter parent of the highest order. Mm-hmm. And we thought we'd seen some
We thought we'd seen some shit.
seen
but-
some shit, but no.
Like that-
This was terrifying.
And it totally explains why the dad said sorry for, abandoning you, basically, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
oh man.
Oh my god. Like,
That's
oh.
yeah.
Like, oh my god. Like,
What what tears me up about this, and it's why it's so insidious and why I love it, and is because you can totally see that Nagisa's mom, she is this way. Yes, it's her own decisions and things like that, but at the same time, it's because of her parents, right? How much things were prioritized for her that basically she felt like she was a failure, etc. All of this stuff, right? These kinds of, because these kinds of feelings, yes, she could just be someone that was super hard on herself, but that doesn't just happen without outside help. Like, not to that degree.
Environment is always at play here. The difference is that we don't know anything about her parents.
Sure.
Like, entirely.
Yeah.
It's all based on kind of what must be the case.
No, we do know some things. We knew that they were very hard on her, and that they didn't let her like be very girly and stuff, you know. And like she did bring up quite a bit of stuff when she was talking with Korosensei.
Yes, and we have to take her word for it.
Yeah.
But I would just say that idea of kind of immediately looking at this and going, well, this is this is her environment.
No, I am not in the slightest excusing what she's doing, right? But it's something where the
type of words that she's using are ones that you could very see her being in a regurgitative state back from, like, it's stuff that she's just regurgitating out back from when she was a kid.
And that this is what can happen when you don't have a teacher like Korosensei. That this is the kind of stuff that basically Korosensei is helping sort of save them from, right? Because even if, like, you know, these kids had you know, seemed to be doing pretty well even though they were in Class E, there's this kind of stuff where it can take a dark turn real quick and real badly.
Really quickly.
Like, oh man.
Yeah, I liked that there was proper amounts of foreshadowing for this. Like a lot of good foreshadowing.
Yep.
The stuff regarding Nagisa that kind of set this up rather well was just that, okay, Nagisa has a very low regard for his own safety.
Yep.
Meaning that something is wrong in his environment to where he is either constantly in danger or he's still innocent to the possibility of danger.
Right.
And we found out rather quickly which one it was here.
Yep.
And the idea of living with an abusive parent who basically doesn't allow you to live as your own person is a very, very common thing.
Yes.
It's to degrees of measure,
Sure.
of course.
Right. It might be something subtle and not strong enough that it ends up actually getting addressed because it might go unnoticed or, you know, or whatever.
Or it's just something that you end up pretty easily breaking the umbilical cord of when you move out of the house.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I have seen very, very insidious versions of this that don't even necessarily come from the parents, but from the family as a whole.
Oh.
Some of them that I've noticed that are rather, rather gross specifically is one surrounding the area of actually just crime in general, where basically when there's this idea of, you're trying to be an actual, like, functioning member of society.
Nope, can't have that.
That's not allowed here. Another version specifically is religion. That's another one that's very common specifically. And then another one that I would say is pretty well exemplified here is gender, actually. It's one specifically where it's I have a specific way of expressing myself, and this is who I am. And there's a very, very hard idea of, based on those three examples I mentioned, you are doing something that is pulling you away from the vision. I love that you use the word ideal here. The ideal picture of who you are supposed to be.
Right.
And that is such a disgusting, way of thinking.
And it can be in something as subtle as the sports are everything that matters, you know, for the son, or, you know, or something like that, right?
I've seen in dads in the US here is very common.
I know that it is something that can be a very positive thing, a bonding experience between the dad and the kids and things like that and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
But there's this point where whenever I would see, like, the kids that were, like, really into sports, and it seemed like too into sports, right?
Yeah.
I always wondered how much of it was their own enjoyment of it versus something that they felt like they had to put on.
Yeah.
You know?
I've seen, actually, and this is one that I've seen like even recently, is the idea of one of the kids picks up dad's sport, basically, and just clicks. It works super well, right?
And the other kid doesn't.
The other kid doesn't.
And this doesn't have to be just sports. Like, it can be all kinds of things.
No, but it's the thing of where I noticed that in order to separate themselves, the other brother basically then does the exact opposite stuff. And then the dad thinks that there's something wrong with the brother. And it's not even that there's something that he actually thinks is wrong with their person. He thinks that there's something that's like something that needs to be like addressed. And he's thinking like, how can I better connect with my son and stuff? And it's like, well, show him that you care about what he decides to do and who he decides to be. Regardless of whether or not you actually care about the things themselves, there's ways to do that without actually being, in deception and trying to pretend that you like the thing itself. It's in some ways like what the mom did here at the end of, I don't care, do what you want to do. That's the coldest, bare minimum version of it.
Right.
But I remember a very specific time when I was younger, and a buddy of mine wanted me to get into baseball with him.
Oh, sure.
And I remember going to my dad and being like, Dad, what sport did you play growing up? And he could tell that I was going to be influenced slightly by what he told me. And he said, I played lots of sports. And it was the thing of like, he's not really telling me and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but what was your favorite one?
Right.
And he basically was like, Caleb, whatever thing you choose to do as a hobby or what have you, I don't really care what it is. I'm just excited for you to choose a thing that you can, put some passion into. Because he then turned it into a compliment about how much I loved running even as a kid. He's like, you love running. So he's like, whatever you do, if it involves running, you're going to have so much fun. And I was just like, oh, okay. I ended up finding out like a decade later that he was wishing in the back of his mind that I would choose soccer. Because he loved soccer. Yeah. But he said there was no way in hell that he was going to push
say that.
Soccer onto me. And the funny thing is to this day, we still throw the frisbee together because he really liked throwing the frisbee growing up. And that ended up being the sport that I actually did end up falling really in love with, even though baseball was the one that I first chose because I wanted to do it with a friend. Yeah. And I am so thankful that my dad basically went the complete opposite end of the spectrum with regards to pushing a specific idea, belief system, or sport or anything like that. And it just makes there be way less attachment to this kind of setup here.
This kind of thing was something that always terrified me once I realized that this actually happened and was common because my actual personal problem with my dad on this regard was that I felt like he wouldn't give enough guidance, where it was he wanted to be so hands off that it was like no I'm not sure what to do, give me something that I can run with, right? But then when I found out, when I had my first experience of a close friend opening up about this kind of stuff, it was just like, oh, this is what you're serious, okay, that's messed up.
And it's something that oftentimes I think the parents are unaware of what they're doing.
Oh, they totally are. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why the breaking away from the parent is so important as a part of that coming of age, because there are situations where the parent needs to be broken away from, but it's actually a very positive relationship, right?
Totally.
But because of that, you need to figure out who you are on your own and all of that stuff, right? So there needs to be that separation, right?
Right.
Because I feel like when there's that connection, right, with a parent, anyone that you really love, right? That is such a strong positive reinforcement to try and keep that connection strong. That can become, I feel like, almost a form unintentional brainwashing, basically,
control, manipulation,
where it's just the idea that wouldn't be there, that it would ever be damaged, is then
it's a fear.
It's a fear. It's a punishment on its own,
Right.
even if it's not something that the person is actively doing.
Right.
So in this situation where it is very heavy-handed. It's absolutely she might not be aware that she's doing that because she's so it's such a bag of cats in there, right? But there's no doubt about it, right? Like,
Yep, exactly. I remember seeing a family dynamic once, and this was something that's weird because I have a really big passion about families in particular. Like, one of my biggest dreams, if anything, because I don't really have like big dreams as much anymore. But I think my main one is that I want to be a dedicated, focused dad to however many kids I end up having and stuff. But I was in a lot of positions where I would either be tutoring kids or I would be, kind of helping out with, just kind of, just taking care of other people's kids, basically. Yeah. And one of the things that they would talk to me a lot about is the idea of favorites. And there was this really weird dynamic in single child families, basically, where there's only one kid, is you don't really have that problem, right? Except you do. And this is what it looks like, is that because they only have the one kid, it's that the parents make the ideal of that kid.
Right, this is the only kid we have,
kid.
so
the kid disassociates themselves from their parents' ideal and creates another personality to fight against that ideal. I have seen this happen, where I am actually impressed with Nagisa that
how well
he's
handling
actually
it.
survived this thus far.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I think he hadn't. That he was actually kind of close to giving up. Think back to episode 1, what he did.
Yep.
He jumped onto Korosensei with basically a bomb on his chest.
Yep.
Thinking, this will work. I'll finally be able to quit the game.
Right.
When they showed that game menu, and it was new game, continue, and new game plus, and he started cycling through the thing there, that was beautiful. I think any kid out there that got that visual imagery of the storytelling stuff like there was like, I get it. They immediately understood kind of what that meant.
The fire demon with the fangs and everything is great and all, but that's
Yeah, they even had basically the little allusion to the video game analogy when the kids were like, "Oh, that boss, you know."
Yeah, you were able to beat the boss so quickly, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was and then even the whole thing of the thing the main famous company mom couldn't get it work to, like he was cycling through like things
like,
in a video game
also
menu.
And I love how this recontextualizes so much of what Nagisa has done over the course of the show, because even with them making the list for Korosensei, now it wasn't said here, but it seemed like it, that basically he has a list for his mom, right? Oh. These are the things. Oh, she's got that dark look again. Oh, I made a mistake. I said something negative when she had that dark look. Oh, like,
oh my
God.
That I didn't even think about that. And they didn't show it here, but that's a very easy to, I would say,
like, the fact that Nagisa went with, like, oh, okay, Korosensei, all right, well, I'll just start making a list, right? You know, it'll be easy, right?
The explanation that they gave, like you were saying earlier, for the reason why Nagisa is so talented with being able to understand
like, look at a person and get a read on them.
Like, basically determine their state of aggression. Like, how dangerous are they?
Right.
It's like a threat meter, basically.
Yeah, like even being able to read the thing so that he can do the clap right. Like at the end, he did the full on Reaper clap. Like, it wasn't just like clap to distract you to get the weapon. No, it was like a single clap to just
boom.
Yeah,
done.
Take you out.
And I think this was heightened by the fact that he had literally just been drugged and dragged over to his class and was being told by his mom that you have to burn it yourself. Which I think that this show does this every once in a while in a way that is really tough, since we're making these kids be hyper competent in specific ways.
Right.
Is reminding us that they are kids at very key emotional moments.
Yes.
And part of that is the idea that the mom's pressure that she can put on Nagisa is not just the kind of thing of where it's just brainwashing, where it's like, oh, if the magic word is said, he'll snap out of it. No, it's like Nagisa believed this.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
Until Korosensei came into his life. She said it herself.
Yep.
You didn't. You weren't this unruly until you came to this class.
Nope.
That was this year. Meaning it's only been 8 months or so of this. But Nagisa is like, what, 15? This is high school, right? Or is this junior high?
Third year of middle school.
Oh, okay.
Or third year of, yeah. So he's 14. Yeah.
So for 13, well, that's the thing. We don't know how long it is. But all
the
the formative years.
While. Yeah.
All the formative years where the dad eventually just gave up and was like, I can't do this.
And
he won't even fight to take Nagisa with him.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe he tried.
He did, and
you know
well,
how that stuff goes.
Works.
Divorce and custody and all that shit. But, yeah,
I'm actually really impressed here. The setup for Nagisa and that the mother was the abusive one it's apparent in what's going on with Nagisa for sure.
Right.
In that he's basically being forced to take on her own life.
Oh God.
And do a repeat of it. New Game Plus. That's your role.
Yay.
But usually in kind of young kind of boy protagonist storylines, the mother is an angel. And they're perfect, and there's literally
they've got that
nothing
side,
they can do wrong.
They've got that side ponytail, and then they tragically die, and it
too
motivates
perfect for
everything.
this world, and they die.
Right.
And it's the father that has usually the
either absent or gruff and no emotional connection kind of
some
a thing.
kind of punitive maybe relationship in general. But it's rare, I would say, just from my experience in media, to see the mother be the one that's actually the one that is this terrifying force. And it reminded me of the early perspective that we get on the mom from Your Lie in April.
Yep, same.
And the visual way that they described her vitriol, like her vice grip she has on Nagisa, was like, this is why anime can be so powerful at times. And it drops the subtlety entirely and just goes, no, this is how viscerally terrifying it would be for Nagisa.
And what I love about this, one of the things that I love about this is that in the case of, like, say, Your Lie in April, right? That's something where you're dying, right? Like, so that makes sense. That is totally a thing that happens where that can change a person, right?
Yep.
As they realize that their death is approaching. But reality is stranger than fiction. And the most terrifying things that are out there don't have to come from a tragic backstory or anything like that, or some crazy assassin that thought when their father was killed in front of them, oh wow, that's so cool, right? No, it can come from the basic ass life, right? That just turns you into something horrific and ugly, right?
Like parenting, like you were saying.
Yeah, and that will create a much bigger, demon final boss, that needs to be vanquished than any kind of,
I really am really glad that they also framed this around the idea of Nagisa wanting to be an assassin. Because I want to read too much into this and just know that I don't take this theory as seriously as possible.
Right, yeah.
But one of the things that I think is rather interesting about Nagisa specifically is the idea that he has his hair up.
Okay.
And that's a thing that apparently, I believe they say it in the episode, that was something that he started doing here. That's like a new thing. Like she was saying it made her mad when he did that.
Right, but it still looks good on him, so yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. But what I think that's his little bit of, no, I still get to choose a little bit of something. And then Korosensei called it out with the hair joke. But basically the idea that hairstyle, that's his choice, right? While Nagisa was submitting essentially to the punishment of this whole life that he lives here, I think that if this had continued too long and he had developed basically, the skills to become an assassin, there's a possibility, a non-zero chance that the first person who he would have made disappear would have been his mom.
Yeah, it's something where
it's a bit of a reach.
No, it is a bit of a reach, and the show, of course wouldn't go there, right?
Because they don't want to encourage that kind of stuff.
Definitely,
in general.
right. So it's not even being brought up, right?
No, not even at all.
But here's something that I do want to say that is very much being brought up: the idea of them actually being assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going after Korosensei, and we're never actually going to succeed in killing Korosensei, and we don't even want to kill Korosensei deep down.
4 months, but...
We've got 4 months,
Hey, you promised.
Right. But when Nagisa brought up the whole idea of, hey, I want to be an assassin, yes, he would be good at that.
He would be good.
He would be good at that.
And Karasumo would be his in.
What is an assassin? It's someone that kills people for hire.
Yeah.
None of these kids actually want to do that.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Korosensei does not want them to do that. You know, we've had points where Nagisa came very close to killing someone, right? And it was don't God, oh God, don't do that, right? Don't do it. Even if it hadn't been, say, his mom, right? He could have turned to that as a way to at least feel powerful, right?
Yep.
And it is something he's good at. I feel like that was an example of Korosensei basically taking the person, the good kid that is this close to going down a dark path, right?
Like we've seen him when he's like, okay, it's time.
And
the serpent, you know.
Right. And taking this out of ass class, right? Replace being an assassin with anything else, right? It doesn't even have to be a traditional vocation or anything like that, but something where the person's life is going to take a turn in a bad direction, right?
Yep.
It can just happen, right?
Yeah.
It can happen, and it can be something where they think it's even a good decision to be making, right?
Yep.
And that's why it's so important to have people around you, to have people like Korosensei that can basically look at it and say, okay, you know. And he didn't say, you can't do that. But he was like, well...
Think of who you're doing this for.
Think of who you're doing this for, right? It was a wonderfully guiding little bit of, like, well, hold on just a sec. You know, think about it.
And then whatever you choose, I will support.
Right.
And Koro-sensei seeing through him to basically realize that he's so chained up and restrained that he's like, you're not doing anything for you right now.
Yeah.
So... I can't really take your request here seriously until you've thought about that. And, like, little did Koro-sensei know that it would bring up basically all of this in one, in one sequence, basically.
Yep.
But I really, really, like, the more and more I think about Nagisa being the main character, just realize how perfect of a main character he is for this story.
Oh, yeah.
Because I almost feel like this is what Koro-sensei's origin has, like, parallels to.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Like, why was Koro-sensei made to be Koro-sensei?
Right.
He was probably made to be some kind of, weapon or some kind of thing like this, where it's the, you're the ideal, this specific thing. But I have other dreams. I have specific things I want to do for me.
Maybe he wants to travel the world and be a vlogger or something. You know, who knows,
maybe
right?
all this stuff that he's been doing, goofing off all over the world and stuff, is actually the thing he's just most wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the teaching kids thing was something that was the woman that he interacted with in the little flashback thing. But over the course of that time, where he's actually teaching them, he bumps into this kid, and Nagisa basically might have been the wake-up thing of, oh shit, these kids really need me. Like, he sees a kid do what Nagisa did in episode 1, and he's like, oh, I need to take this really seriously.
Right, yeah,
Oh, man. I really love this episode. This episode, like, thinking about it is making me nearly want to cry again. But, like, the last little thing I'm going to make a connection with here that I think is not at all the intention of the creator necessarily, but I thought back to why was Nagisa's bloodlust, his desire to kill, giving the look of a snake. And I thought about it, and I realized that snakes are the universal feared predator of the animal kingdom. Every animal has a natural, like, negative response to snakes being nearby.
Right.
Once they see them, they're like, huh, nope. And so, what I think Nagisa wants in some ways is to be able to have that look where people don't immediately presume to tread upon him just because of his appearance.
Right.
And thus, the snake is the ultimate, and we even have a whole thing here in the U.S. with regards to this, the don't tread on me snake thing. It's with regards to how the country, the revolution and all that. But the thing I get from this here is it's the small, frail creature that absolutely no one screws around with.
Yeah.
And yet, the only main reason why he would want that is because he's experienced the exact opposite his entire life.
Well, and one of the like, you know, and I don't think, and like you were saying, I don't think this is necessarily intentional, but I'll bring this up too, just for the poetry of it, I guess.
Okay.
One of the things about snakes is that you can't really hold them.
Nope.
If you grab a snake anywhere but the head can come around and bite you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just another thing, right? You know, and okay, there's that. Yeah. But then there's also the whole idea of the venom.
Oh,
so
sure.
Everything that his mother was doing to him was sinking her fangs into him, getting the poison in there, right? Attacking him from the inside, you know.
Yeah.
Because if it was something as simple as there was no pretense of care or love or anything like that, right? And it was simply that she was like, you know,
just hitting him constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he could probably treat her as just any other person that he needs to defend himself against.
A natural predator.
Exactly, right?
He would either...
Yep, and that's why things like this get so insidious, is because it's not simple, it's not clear cut. And especially at this formative stage of your life, you're not confident enough in your own abilities to discern things for as they are, that you aren't sure yourself. So because it's not like this all the time, right? You know, there are times when she's totally normal, right? And they're able to get along.
She made me a really nice meal and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. But so I guess I just need to keep an eye out for when that other, like, version of her, you know, is around, so that I avoid it. Because if I do that, then we can carry on and have a good life, you know.
God, I have like a trigger spot for basically the idea of parents who
leverage the connection.
Yeah. Basically abuse the trust that is inherent in a child and their parents. It is to use a very specific word, it is sacred almost. It is something that you do not walk upon ever. Like you do not tarnish that at all. And if you do accidentally, you know, fray it of some, you know, in some way, that's something you devote every ounce of your energy to restoring. And I have seen the mindset of parents who basically see their kids as just a burden. And this is where you get basically mothers drowning kids in bathtubs and all kinds of fucked up stuff. So it's just, well done, Assassination Classroom, for going into this, covering it, and making it look really ugly, and also finding a very, I would say, almost a bit too clean of a solution, so that we don't have to get into the unfortunate reality of how most of these situations can end up going.
For a couple reasons. Because there's the fact that the assassin came, right? That was helpful. Because
that was very convenient.
Because then it's something where Nagisa can use the tools that he's learned in front of his mother to basically show, like, so that it can directly help the situation. Or at the very least, indirectly help the situation.
Yeah.
But the other is the fact that Nagisa's mom actually got to the point where she drugged him and then took him to the school to burn it down. Because that's an ultimatum at the very least. The problem with something like this is that if the abuser is smart, they'll make sure that it never gets to an ultimatum. Because that'll actually cause you to decide for yourself. Right? Because if it's never an ultimatum, then they can keep you in that kind of sort of passive enough state that you let them have free reign over you. Right? I am very worried what would have happened if, one, Korosensei wasn't there, but two, if it hadn't gotten bad enough to the point where Nagisa knew for a fact that he had to do something. Because I could see it being something where he only fully realized this, 5-10 years later? You know,
Maybe.
like who knows?
Maybe.
Right?
I've seen the mama's boy that's basically living at home because literally the mom won't let him leave, and he's like 42 or something. I've seen it. It's not a thing where the boy is just an entirely just man-child thing where he won't, work
he can't sustain himself, kind of a thing.
No, there was a point where he tried, and she groomed him well, basically, to stay. And it's just, it's insane.
And we get that after the, wonderful wholesomeness and all that stuff of Bitch Sensei realizing how much everybody cares about her and all that stuff.
With the little costume change and stuff.
That
was a nice way to lull us into a false sense of security.
I know, right?
I love that, and her hair. I love her.
I gotta
hair.
say,
oh my god!
I gotta say, damn, that was a good look.
She finally looks her age now too.
Yes,
she looks like she's young 20s now.
Right, exactly. When they mentioned that in the previous episode, I was like, wait, shit, that's right. Like she really isn't that old at all.
Right,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, less is more, and that can be taken multiple different ways.
Yeah, it can. I was gonna say,
Bitch Sensei was doing the other kind of less is more, but I mean.
We know, exactly. But y'all, Assassination Classroom, it knows how to whip out a fantastic, smart hitting, hard hitting single episode, and then just be like, all right, now let's move on to the next one.
Like a good assassination, you never see it coming.
Exactly. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yep, the info's in the description, so check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.